The Galactic Council's central hall floated above a gas giant in Sector Vargan 7. It was an ancient place. The walls shimmered with starlight. Hundreds of alien species filled the circular arena, talking, buzzing, hissing, and growling. Some floated in energy forms. Others stood tall on insect-like legs. All of them focused on one hologram at the center of the room. It was Earth, a blue and green world, small and spinning slowly, peaceful. Weak High Commander Krivel of the Zarketh. Empire stepped forward, raising one clawed hand. He wore red and black armor, and his eyes glowed with pride. "This," he said, voice echoing across the hall, "is the softest target in the galaxy." The room burst into laughter. Long, loud, cruel laughter. One ambassador from the Drill Swarm clicked its mandibles together. "Do they even have space weapons?" "Barely," answered Krivel. "Primitive satellites, old rockets, few mining colonies on Mars and the Moon, but no real fleet, no starships, not even basic shielding. More." Laughter, a cloud being from the Linkai, misted out a response. How did they survive this long? Krivel showed them a chart. Isolation. The humans stayed in their solar system. They don't even know about slipspace travel. No alliances, no trade routes, nothing. They are isolated, alone, and weak. He tapped the projection. Red mark. "Appeared on Earth, we strike now. The Zarketh Empire claims Earth as our own. We will strip their resources, enslave their population, and turn the planet into a fuel harvesting station." No one objected, except one. A deep, growling voice came from the back. It was General Hervac of the Volsian War Pact. His face was hidden under thick armor, and his voice was low. "You say Earth is soft," he growled. "Many internal wars. They have weapons that can destroy their own planet." Krivel laughed. "That was a long time ago. They've disarmed. Their people are lazy now. They play games, watch shows. They are not a threat." Hervac didn't laugh. "And yet, they smile. Even as your fleets approach." "That worries me." Krivel waved him off. "They smile because they don't understand what's coming." But Hervac's voice dropped into a whisper. "No, they smile like something is coming for us." On Earth, a message blinked deep inside a hidden mountain bunker under the Rocky Mountains. The bunker was known only by one name protocol echoed out inside. An old man sat at a control panel. His uniform had no rank, no name, just a black eagle. He watched the holograms of incoming alien ships. 12, then 30. Then 80. More followed. He didn't speak. He just turned a small key beside his console. All over Earth, deep under cities, mountains and oceans, ancient systems powered up for the first time in decades. In New York, an elevator went down 200 floors below the subway. Soldiers stepped into black halls with glowing blue lights. In Russia, a satellite dish reoriented and began sending out coded pulses to something on the far side of the moon in China. A control center lit up underground, revealing something enormous. Wrapped in metal and cables, the world above remained quiet. But below the surface, Earth had just woken up. The alien fleet entered Earth orbit. Commander Vorvok of the Zarketh fleet grinned as he watched the planet spin below. "No resistance," he said. "We will land troops on every continent, full control in 3 days." His second-in-command, a four-eyed creature named Sovar, pointed at a strange reading. "Sir, global power is shutting down. The entire planet just went dark." Vorvok frowned. "An accident?" "No, coordinated. Every city, every country, all at the same time." Vorvok stared at the blacked-out Earth. "They're trying to hide." He turned to the invasion teams. "Deploy troops. Now." In major cities around the world, alien drop pods roared through the sky and smashed into streets, parks, and rooftops. Alien soldiers stepped out, armed with plasma weapons and scanners. They expected panic. Resistance, screaming crowds instead. They found empty streets. No vehicles. No people. It was too quiet. In Paris, one Zarketh squad walked through the city center. The Eiffel Tower loomed in the distance, dark and silent. One soldier muttered, "Where are the humans?" In Tokyo, another squad moved through the Shibuya crossing. All screens were black.
Ow.
Stores closed. Nothing but silence. Then it happened. Every screen on the planet flickered on. Old TV sets, phones, giant billboards, even alien scanners. A face appeared. A human. Old. Calm. Wearing dark glasses, he spoke one word. "Welcome." And then every alien weapon jammed. All of them. Across Earth. The Zarkith soldiers tried to fire, to scan, to call for help, but their systems were dead. Something had locked them out. On their ships in orbit, alarms blared. One by one, Zarkath ships began exploding in perfect silence. They didn't see the attackers. They didn't hear them. The attackers were invisible. Back in the bunker, the old man stood and spoke to a shadow on the wall. "Confirm activation of Phantom Fleet." The shadow replied in a calm female voice. "Confirmed. Phantom Fleet released from cloaking. Earth space secured." In orbit, 20 human warships suddenly became visible around the moon. No one knew they were there. The Phantom Fleet had been built in secret, deep inside asteroid fields and icy moons. Each ship was cloaked, silent, and packed with weapons. Far beyond anything known, one alien commander tried to flee. A laser from Earth's surface sliced his ship in half. Before it even reached orbit, another tried to hide behind Mars. The AI-controlled drones followed him, hunted him, then wiped him from space. On the Galactic Council's screens, reports flooded in. Zarkith fleet destroyed. Earth defense. Unknown level. Multiple stealth ships detected. Retreat recommended. Panic began to grow. Commander Krivel screamed, "Impossible!" They were primitives, but the Volscian General Hervac sat quietly. He said one sentence, low and cold. They hid there. Power. For a reason. In space, the last Zarkith ship exploded. Earth was silent again, but not weak. Far from it, Earth had just shown the galaxy. Simple truth. They laughed at humanity. Now, they would never laugh again. The Zarkith assault team stood in the center of what was once Washington, D.C. The air was cold. The wind whispered between tall, silent buildings. Everything was empty. Not a single human had been seen since they landed. No shouting, no sirens, just silence. Commander Valrek looked around nervously. His soldiers, 12 of them, were elite, trained for war, clad in advanced armor. Their eyes scanned for movement, but nothing showed on their HUDs. Their scanners blinked with error messages. "Something's wrong," Valrek said. "Private Gorik." "Turn to him, sir. It's too quiet. We landed 5 hours ago. Not one human has been spotted. Not even resistance fighters." "Where are they?" Valrek growled. "Hiding like cowards. Sweep the next block." The soldiers moved carefully down the empty street. A broken drone lay on the sidewalk. Shops were closed. Cars were parked neatly. There were no signs of panic, no signs of evacuation. Either. It was as if everyone had simply vanished. Then, suddenly, every screen came to life. Street signs, building displays. Mobile devices lying on the ground, all of them flickered on with the same glowing message. "We see you," one soldier aimed his weapon at the screen. "What does that mean?" Before anyone could answer, the ground shook. Then it opened. Metal doors cracked open beneath their feet. The road collapsed, and 2 Zarkith soldiers fell into the darkness. Their screams echoed briefly, then cut off. Valrek shouted, "Regroup! Fall back." But it was too late. Dozens of hidden turrets emerged from nearby rooftops. Silent black drones dropped from the skies, firing pulse bolts that hit like lightning. The Zarkith troops fired back, but their weapons clicked uselessly. Still jammed, within 30 seconds, only Valrek remained. He crawled under a transport vehicle, breathing hard, his hands shaking. He tried to contact his ship, but all he got was static. Then a voice came from nowhere. Calm, human. "Welcome to Earth. We were waiting for you." On the Zarkath flagship, orbiting above Earth, Admiral Sovar stared at the screen. The data feed had gone black. No response from ground units, No signal from the other ships in orbit. Report, shouted. A technician replied, Sir, our systems are being hacked. Communications are down. Weapon control is frozen. Shield generators offline. By who? The technician's voice trembled. By them, the humans. Sovar gritted his teeth. We outgun them. Fire manually. Hit them from orbit. Another voice interrupted. Sir, look Earth's atmosphere. Something's rising. Sovar turned to the main screen. Lips appeared, faint at first, then dozens, then hundreds. Human warships, once invisible, now uncloaked, and moving with terrifying speed. They rose from oceans, from mountains, from craters on the moon, sleek, black, and silent. These ships had no visible engines. Their movements were sharp, calculated. They didn't send threats. They didn't send demands. They simply fired. Within 10 seconds, the Zarketh flagship's sister vessels were gone, vaporized by kinetic rods and plasma disruptors. Their shields failed without warning. Their hulls cracked under weapons that shouldn't exist. On board, Sovar shouted, Retreat! Retreat now! But the humans had already jammed the emergency. Warp systems. From the Pacific Ocean, something massive rose hidden beneath the sea for decades. A giant platform floating with magnetic lift, glowing blue with energy from it. 5 human capital ships launched, each larger than the Zarketh flagship. These were not warships of defense. These were weapons of revenge. One of the alien officers whispered, Why would they build all this? Why hide it? Another said they were preparing. Sovar looked at the destruction unfolding. His eyes were wide. Preparing for what? The answer came on every screen aboard his ship, spoken by the same human voice. For this moment. Below, deep under Colorado, the old man in the black bunker watched it all unfold. Round him, engineers and commanders worked without panic. A general approached him. Sir, all Zarketh troops on Earth are neutralized. Their fleet is collapsing. Should we take prisoners? The old man shook his head. Now let the last few escape. Why? They need to tell the others what happened here. In the skies above, the last Zarketh cruiser broke orbit. One of its engines was on fire. Half the ship was gone, but it was leaving. It would survive. Barely, that was the point inside that damaged ship. A single surviving officer crawled into a signal pod. Bleeding, coughing, and shaking, he hit the beacon. A deep space warning pulse was launched into the stars. A message to the Galactic Council. Earth is not what we thought. 2 days later, the Galactic Council gathered again. This time, no. One laughed. Crevel was silent. His claws trembled as he watched footage from Earth. Cities glowing with strange energy. Ships using unknown tech. Drones that moved faster than light, and one image chilled everyone, though. Phantom fleets surrounding Earth like a wall of silent death. General Hervac stood slowly. I warned you, said one ambassador hissed. How long have they had this? Technology, another muttered. Why didn't we know? Hervac turned toward the center of the chamber, because the humans wanted it that way. A new image appeared on the main screen. It was a human message, sent just 1 hour ago. Number, encryption. No threat, just a voice. It was the same old human again. Calm, controlled. He said, You came to conquer us. You thought we were weak. You saw our silence and thought it was fear. He paused. I then added, But Earth is not silent because of fear. We were quiet because we were watching, studying, preparing. You wanted war. The voice grew colder now. You have it. The council chamber went silent. All eyes turned toward Crevel. He stepped back because he realized something terrible. Humanity had never been weak. They had only been waiting for a reason to show their true power, and now the galaxy had given them one. Space over Earth was filled with silence and floating wreckage. Zarketh ships drifted in pieces, burning and broken. No distress signals, no escape pods, just death. The stars above Earth had never looked more terrifying. Inside a hidden command, center on the dark side of the moon, Commander Alina Reyes stood before a massive holographic map of the battlefield. Her voice was steady as she spoke to her team. Phase 1 complete. Enemy fleet destroyed. 0 human losses. Behind her, officers and AI assistants worked in perfect silence, processing millions of data streams in real time. They wore black uniforms. No flags. No names. Only a symbol on their shoulders, the mark of the Phantom Fleet. One officer turned. "Commander, survivors are trying to escape through the Kuiper slipgate. Should we intercept?" Lena narrowed. Her eyes. "Let one go. Let them carry the message." She turned back to the hologram, where Earth was slowly rotating. "Now we show them what they never saw coming." Far beyond Pluto, a massive Zarkith warfleet appeared in slipspace. Over 7,000 warships armored, armed, and ready for revenge. It was the largest fleet the Zarkith Empire had ever launched. The High Emperor himself had ordered it. Inside the flagship, Admiral Jurex of the Bloodscale Division stood tall, eyes burning with fury. "Earth humiliated us," he growled. "Now we bury it." As the fleet moved toward the solar system, they passed Neptune. Then Uranus. Everything was quiet. Too quiet? One sensor officer called out, "Admiral, something's wrong. There are no defense lines, no resistance, no ship." "Movement. Perhaps they fled," another said. "No," Jurex growled. "They're hiding again. It's just like before." He activated the main scanner and looked toward Earth. There were no visible ships, only one small blue planet, alone, exposed. Jurex grinned. "Fire all plasma cannons. Full planetary barrage." Before the order could be completed, every ship's screen went black. Then one by one, ships began exploding. Not from the front, not from any known direction, from inside. "Admiral," screamed the tactical officer. "We're being attacked from within the fleet." On the flagship's main screen, images flickered black. Silent ships slicing through Zarkith formations like ghosts. They came from above, below, behind. They moved too fast, too smooth. Their designs were sharp, dark, and sleek, invisible to sensors, touchable by weapons. "The Phantom Fleet," Jurex roared. "How? Where did they come from?" No one answered. Because even now, the Phantom Fleet didn't show up on any scanner. The Zarketh fleet was being torn apart by an enemy they couldn't see. Ships exploded, split in half, or vanished into gravity rips without warning. AI cores shut down mid-battle. Weapons froze. Shielding systems collapsed. Within minutes, nearly 3,000 ships were destroyed. Onboard Phantom flagship Oblivion, AI Unit Thorn reported to Commander Reyes. Enemy fleet reduction, 42%. Interference field holding. Zarkith targeting locked out. Lena nodded. "Continue with Phase 1. No survivors, except the courier." On Earth, governments and civilians remained in total lockdown. Cities stayed dark. No news broadcasts. No open channels. But in secret bunkers, people watched the battle unfold and they smiled. Because for the first time, truth was out. Earth had prepared, in silence, in shadows. For decades, back in orbit, Zarkith Admiral Jurex finally saw it. Not just the Phantom Fleet, but Earth's true military power. On the surface of the moon, dark doors opened wide. Dozens of warships rose from the craters. Silent launch bays activated on Europa and Titan. Even Pluto's orbit began releasing massive railgun platforms long thought to be mining stations. Human war power surrounded the solar system. Black fleets. Railguns the size of cities, AI-controlled. Strike arms waiting for targets. Jurex screamed into the comms. "Retreat. All ships, get out of this system." But slipspace wasn't working. One of his bridge officers cried, "Our gate beacons are jammed. Navigation down." Jurex stared in. Horror, they knew. They were ready for this. Then a signal came through, broadcast across all surviving Zarkith ships. Audio only, it was the same human voice as before. Calm, cold. "You came again. We gave you a chance to leave. You ignored it." There was a pause. Then the voice added, "Now you'll learn what real silence means." One by one, Zarkith ships exploded. But no missiles were seen, no beams, no movement. They simply ceased to exist. The Phantom Fleet moved like ghosts. No sound, no light, no warning. The survivors panicked. Ships rammed into each other, trying to flee. Internal systems turned against them. In some ships, gravity reversed. In others, oxygen was vented without reason. They were being taken apart, cell by cell, system by system, and humanity didn't even need to be present. This was a I war. The final act of Phase 1 came from Mars. A massive tower, hidden beneath Olympus Mons, rose slowly into the sky. It powered up, glowing with red-hot plasma. A railgun thousands of meters long took aim. It didn't fire at ships. It fired through space. Itself, one Zarkath command cruiser, now retreating at the edge of the system, vanished. In a sudden flash of red light, its remains rained down in Neptune's orbit 10 seconds later, back on Earth. The old man in the Colorado bunker watched without emotion. Beside him, a young officer asked, "Sir, do we begin Phase 2? The old man replied, "Not yet. We haven't shown them enough." In the Galactic Council, panic had replaced arrogance. Ambassadors from 20 species shouted in fear and confusion. They have stealth ships. They attacked without detection. They destroyed an entire fleet without showing themselves. Kryval stood frozen. He had just received the final numbers. Zarketh, Armada casualties. 6,952 ships destroyed. 118,000 troops gone. Human losses. Zero. Hervac stepped forward again, his voice low. "You thought Earth was weak, but they waited. They evolved." Krivel looked around. "Why didn't we know? How could they build all this?" Hervac growled. "They didn't build in one place. They spread silently. Off-world colonies, moons, asteroids, AI-managed construction zones. For years, they used what they learned from every crashed ship, every ancient relic, every mistake we made." Another ambassador whispered, "They are not weaklings." "Oh," said Hervac, "they are predators." Far out beyond the solar system, a small Zarketh scout ship limped away from the burning system. Inside, the last officer alive sent a final message to command. "Earth is not a planet. Earth is a weapon." Then the signal cut, and in the shadows of deep space, more human ships waited, cloaked and silent. Phase 2 was about to begin. The transport vessel was small, fast, and invisible, designed for one mission only: infiltration and assassination. Inside were 6 elite assassins from the Zarketh Empire's Black Talon division. They were trained for deep kills, silent strikes, zero mercy. Their target, Earth's secret command bunker, hidden deep beneath a mountain range in the western part of the human continent. "We strike at night." The squad leader hissed. His voice was dry like sandpaper. "Kill the human generals. Slice out their brain. Collapse their war machine." The others nodded silently. Outside their cloaked shuttle, the darkness of Earth's upper atmosphere passed quickly. They entered lower skies, flying past silent cities. The world below was still in blackout. No lights, no movement. It felt wrong. They didn't care. Their orders were clear: get in, kill, vanish. The ship slid through a narrow mountain pass and descended into a snowy valley. Underneath the snow was a hidden landing zone, long abandoned. No guards, no turrets, no drones, exactly as expected. Too easy, the hatch opened. The assassins moved like shadows, black armor, endless steps, weapons that could pierce a tank. They reached the entry shaft to the bunker. It was old, rusted. They dropped down the maintenance tunnel using silent gliders. The deeper they went, the colder it got. They reached a long hallway. Steel walls, no lights, no alarms. Then the doors closed behind them. One of them turned. "The way is sealed." Another tapped. "There comes blocked. Something's jamming us. Keep moving." The lights flickered. Then something strange happened. They heard breathing, heavy, deep, not from each other. The team stopped, in the dark. Footsteps echoed. "Visuals on?" asked one. They activated thermal vision. Nothing. Suddenly, a whisper crackled through the hallway speakers. "You shouldn't have come here." The lead assassin raised his weapon. "Show yourself." A figure stepped out from the shadows. It was human, almost it wore no armor. Just dark gray skin, glowing red eyes, and veins that pulsed like light circuits. Its body was massive, twice the size of a normal human. It didn't walk. It stalked. The assassins fired. Plasma bolts screamed down the hallway. The figure didn't move. The bolts hit smoke when it cleared. The figure was still standing and smiling. Then it charged. The first assassin was hit so hard, his body shattered against the wall. Another tried to escape, but the ceiling collapsed on him, sealing his fate. The hallway became a kill zone, but the monster wasn't alone. More stepped out of the dark, silent, strong, brutal. They were not soldiers. They were creations. Humans, but altered, enhanced, upgraded. Some had metal bones. Others had glowing eyes, extended arms, armored flesh. They were not alive in the normal sense. They were from Project Revenant. Long ago, Earth's governments banned human enhancement projects. The risks were too high. The cost too great. But during secret wars, these experiments were made. When they succeeded, the creations were locked away, buried beneath the earth. Now they were awake and hungry. Within 5 minutes, the elite Zarkith team was gone, torn apart. Not one survived. The final assassin, bleeding and crawling, reached for his escape beacon. A sharp boot crushed his arm. The Revenant leaned close, whispering, "We were the experiment. You were the test." Then silence. Up above in the command room, the old human general watched the monitor. An officer turned to him. "Sir, the breach team has been eliminated. Any survivors?" "No, but we left their shuttle intact." "Good. Why?" "They'll wonder what happened. They'll find the bodies." He looked at the screen. "Let them see what we made." Far away in space, the Zarketh ship picked up a faint signal. The assassin team's beacon had been triggered automatically. It wasn't a message. It was a data dump video, sensor feeds. Last moments it was sent to the Zarketh High Command when the feed played. The officers in the war chamber went silent. They saw the massacre. They saw the revenants. One Zarketh warlord, watching the footage, whispered in horror, "What? Are those things?" Another answered, "Humans." "No," the first replied. "Not anymore." The message spread across the Zarketh Fleetan, then across the Galactic Council. Earth had monsters in its basement, and it was using them. Gravel stood in the council chamber. His face was pale. His voice shook. They broke every law of life. They created forbidden beings. They turned their own people into weapons. General Hervac growled, and we gave them every reason to do it. The council fell into panic. Some shouted for retreat. Others demanded Earth be quarantined. A few called for peace, but it was too late. Earth had already chosen war, and now it was clear they had no limits. That same day, another signal came from Earth. A short message, no code, no encryption, just one sentence, repeated across the galaxy. "You wanted monsters? You made them." And behind the signal, faint but audible, was the sound of heavy, natural breathing. Humanity had revealed its third layer of defense. Not fleets, not weapons, but monsters made from its darkest science. And they weren't hiding anymore. The stars were full of ships. The Zarketh Empire had brought them all, every warship, every battle carrier, every scout and destroyer across their 12 sectors. Over 7,000 vessels now stood in a single formation, stretching from Saturn's orbit to the edge of Jupiter's moons. This was the Great Armada, and it had one purpose: to crush Earth completely. Inside the main flagship Fury of the Stars Emperor, Draven sat on a silver throne surrounded by thick red banners and growling war chants. He wore the crown of fire steel and armor laced with the bones of defeated kings. He stared at the planet Earth on the main screen. So small, so bright. Draven spoke loudly to his generals. "No more games, no more failures. Earth ends today." The generals pounded their fists. The fleet moved forward. Slipspace gates sealed behind them to prevent retreat. This was total commitment. At the same moment, deep inside Earth's central war bunker, General Alina Reyes stood before a dark screen. She didn't blink. "They've brought everything," said a young officer beside her. Alina nodded. "Good saves us, though." Trouble of chasing them? Across Earth, thousands of people watched the sky. Most didn't see anything, only stars. But hidden observatories picked up the fleet. It looked like a dark storm in space, moving closer with every second. In the Pacific Ocean, a megastructure rose from the water. Massive metallic towers unfolded like flower petals. Hidden for decades under layers of ice and sea, it was Earth's Hydra defense platform. It turned and pointed skyward, above the moon. Hundreds of cloaked platforms uncloaked. From Mars, hidden cannons slowly turned toward deep space. Then, something even more shocking happened. Just beyond Pluto, a massive rift opened, and through it came the human fleet. Not 100 ships, not 1,000, but 30,000. The Phantom Fleet had only been a shadow of Earth's strength. Now the real armada had arrived, silent, black, sharp, terrifying, all AI-guided, all preloaded with enemy tactics. Each one faster, deadlier, and smarter than anything in Zarkith records. Inside the fury of the stars, Emperor Draven stood up in shock. "What is this?" his sensor chief gasped. "Earth has 30,000 warships." "Repeat, 30,000? Draven's eyes widened. "Possible." "They were a single world," his war chief replied. "Not anymore." They had missed something. Something big. Humanity had already spread. While the galaxy watched Earth's surface, humanity had built colonies on asteroids, moons, deep space stations. They had secret shipyards on Eris, Callisto, and in Interstellar. Void zones, they had expanded, slowly and silently. Now, the galaxy saw the result. The human fleet began to close in. No speeches. No warnings. The first Zarkith frontline ships exploded in perfect sync, entire squadrons, deleted in seconds. No beams. Just disintegration. Zerk captains screamed for targeting data, but there was none. Human weapons moved faster than light. They used quantum prediction and made no sound. They didn't fire to damage. They fired to erase. Within 15 minutes, 2,000. Zarkith warships were gone. Emperor Draven screamed, "Form battle diamond, shield wall formation, redirect fire." Too late. From Saturn's rings, Earth's ghost satellites activated. These were ancient-looking junk satellites disguises. But they each housed small, gravitic dizzard. With a single pulse, they tore holes in the Zarketh formation. Ships collided. Others spun out of control. Many simply vanished as gravity twisted them inside out. Then came the wave missiles launched. From the Martian railguns, these didn't explode. They silenced. Any ship they hit shut down instantly. Power gone. AI fried. Crew paralyzed. It was like death from within. The Great Armada was collapsing, inside the council hall of the Galactic. Cor Crivel watched the live feed. His scales paled. "They're wiping out Zarkith," whispered an ambassador. "They outnumber them. They outmatch them. They outthink them." Another replied. Crivel stared in horror. "We never knew. The Earth had all of this," and said nothing. Hervac stood with arms crossed. "No, they said everything. Just didn't listen." Back in the solar system, panic filled the Zarkith fleet. Ship captains broke formation. Some begged for mercy. Others tried to run, but the slip space was sealed. Human ships followed them merciless, silent, precise. A final order came from Earth. Show them Mars. From beneath Mars's surface, Titan Lance Roseanne, ancient weapon, older than most Earth nations.
Ow.
It charged slowly, glowing red. A railgun stretching 300 kilometers underground. It fired once. A beam of energy so bright, so massive, it tore a path through space. 3 Zarketh moons previously, known to humans, were cut in half. The beam passed through them and kept going. Ripping a hole in space itself, even the humans paused. It was not a weapon. It was a statement. The Great Armada had lost 5,600 ships in 32 minutes. Zarkoth's command structure was gone. Their emperor stood frozen. On his cracked screen, a message appeared from Earth. It said, "Do not mistake kindness for weakness. We asked for peace. You demanded war. Now you will know our truth." And just below it, this was only our second gear. It's the feed cut of the Great Armada. Less than 300 ships remained, and those were fleeing, desperate and broken. One escaped. Through a hidden wormhole, not to regroup, just to tell others what had happened. To tell them that Earth, a world once mocked, Quans laughed at, had just destroyed the strongest fleet in the known galaxy, and hadn't even tried that hard in the darkness beyond Jupiter. Earth's fleet stood silently. No cheers, no songs, just calm. Cold readiness. Because the war wasn't over yet. It had just begun. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. High Lords screamed. Ambassadors panicked. Emergency lights flashed above their heads. The scent of fear filled the air, thick and sharp like burning metal. Holograms floated in every direction. Sarkith. Fleet destroyed. Entire armadas wiped out. Earth's military strength was far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. A single planet had just crushed. The largest war fleet ever assembled, and did it without mercy, warning, or loss. High Commander. Krivel slammed his fist against the crystal table. This can't be real. They're just humans. He stopped. Even he didn't believe that anymore, eh? Soft voice broke the tension. It was General Hervac of the Volscian Pact, calm, watching, waiting. They are no longer just humans, he growled. They are something else now. Something we don't understand. One ambassador shouted, "We must sue for peace." Another cried, "We must surrender before they come here." A third whispered, "We pushed them too far. They begged us to leave them alone." We laughed. Gravel hissed, "Send a peace offer. Full pardon. Complete surrender terms. Anything they want. We must stop this before they come to the core worlds." But it was already too late. Humanity was already on its way. Back in Earth's primary war bunker, deep, beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Alina Reyes stood before a glowing display. Human ships had now reached Council space borders. Her AI assistant, Code -7, spoke softly. Council signals detected. They are broadcasting diplomatic codes, offering total surrender. Alina didn't smile. She didn't speak right away. Behind her, silent commanders and AI operators worked in rhythm. Every screen showed a different battlefield. Every unit ready. "We respond?" Code -7 asked. Alina finally answered, "No, not yet." She turned and walked into a darker room. A hidden one. There. The old man was waiting. The same man who first turned the key on Protocol Echo. He stared at her with cold, gray eyes. "They're surrendering," she told him. "I know," he said. "And they're only surrendering. Now, because they fear extinction, we should accept it." He paused. "No, not yet." She raised a brow. "So what's next?" He answered without emotion. "We show them the truth." Earth's second strike fleet exited. Slip space at the edge of the Council's most secure region. The inner core. 10,000 human ships. Silent, black, unstoppable. No orders. No threats, just presence. From the Council's moon station. Thousands of diplomats stared at the screens. In terror, the humans weren't attacking, they were just there, watching, waiting. Karov tried one last, desperate move. He stepped before a galaxy-wide broadcast screen, his voice shook with fear. "This is Krivel of the Galactic Council. We offer total peace. We were wrong. You were right. We will dismantle our fleets. We will pay reparations. We surrender." There was silence. Then the humans responded. A single message. One word. Observed. The Council was confused. Observed. What does that mean? General Hervac understood. His voice dropped like a stone. It means we're being judged. The old man on Earth nodded when the message came through. He whispered to Alina, "The moment they begged, they showed us they don't want peace. They want survival," she asked. "And we give them that?" He looked at her, cold and final. No, not yet. From Earth's hidden core systems, a third protocol was activated: Operation Gauntlet. This wasn't just military force, it was economic, political, and technological control. Human AI viruses began spreading across Council systems. Quietly, no explosions, no warnings. Shipyards failed. Data corrupted, banking systems rewired. Political voting systems overruled. Earth didn't just conquer space, they were now taking the galaxy's control grid. From the shadows, one Council engineer screamed, "They've taken our entire nav map." Another yelled, "Our AI cores are shutting down everywhere." On over 38 Council planets, power systems flickered, the lights dimmed, and Earth's voice came. Again, samevoice.com. Cold, we are not interested in peace. The message paused. We are not interested in revenge. Pause again. We are interested in control. Panic turned to collapse. On dozens of Council worlds, riots broke out. Ships fled. Trade stopped. Civilizations froze. And the humans, they did nothing. They didn't invade. They didn't fire a shot. They just stood there in orbit. In cyberspace, in every major system, watching, listening, taking notes, and still, he smiled. Back in the Council chamber, Crevel fell to his knees. His voice was broken. They were never sleeping. They were learning. Hervac stood silent, watching the human ships slowly drift through Council territory like silent predators. He whispered, "They don't want peace. They want us to understand that the age of the Council is over." Crivel looked up. "And what age is this?" Hervac answered without hesitation. "The age of humanity." And across every screen in the galaxy, one final phrase appeared. Compliance is survival. Resistance is irrelevant. Earth speaks now, and no one dared speak back. The alien planet Velthor Prime burned under its purple sky. Its people feathered, its thin-limbed, and peaceful ran through the smoke as fire rained from the skies. It's not from Earth, not from humans, from other aliens. The uprising had begun, all across. The galaxy species once loyal to the Galactic Council were rebelling. Old grudges rose. Forgotten empires reawakened. The Council silenced their failure to stop Earth had broken the balance. Now chaos spread like wildfire in orbit above Velthor Prime. A fleet from the brutal Charon Syndicate launched wave. After a wave of strikes, not for conquest, for revenge, they protected the Council. One Charon captain hissed, "Let them burn." On a distant jungle world, Rithon soldiers turned on their former allies, marching into their own capital cities. With weapons once bought from Council vendors, Earth crushed Zarkith. A Rithon general barked, "Now we take what's left." In less than 5 days, 12 Council worlds fell, but not to humans, to their own neighbors. Inside the crumbling Council chamber, Crivel could barely breathe. Dozens of ambassadors were missing. Some had fled. Some had vanished. Some had been assassinated. He shouted into the dark, "Where are the humans? Why aren't they stopping this?" General Hervac replied quietly, "They're watching. This is part of their plan." Crivel turned to him, shaking. "You're saying they knew this would happen?" "Yes," Hervac growled. "They didn't just destroy our fleets. They destroyed our unity." Crivel collapsed into his seat. "Then what do we do?" Before anyone could answer, the chamber lights flickered. A message came through. Not from rebels, not from Council. Planets from Earth. On every screen appeared the symbol of the Human Defense Network. Black Eagle, silver, star, red circle. Then the voice returned. .com. Cold. Precise. "You asked why we do not intervene?" The voice paused. "You broke our peace. We broke your systems. Now, you break yourselves." Across the galaxy, war spread faster than light. 30 Council member worlds collapsed in 7 days. But Earth did not attack them. They never fired a single shot. They didn't need to. They simply watched from their massive, black fleets orbiting every major Council sector in secret. They activated Protocol Thornlock, an AI system that silently blocked all diplomatic comms between Council worlds. Messages never arrived. Orders were scrambled. Leaders couldn't coordinate. They didn't know they were being played. Humanity had turned the entire galaxy into a chessboard, and Earth was already in checkmate position. On a hidden moon base near Alpha Centauri, General Elena Reyes monitored the chaos. Around her holoscreens glowed with red and blue lights. One officer stepped forward. Operation Collapse Phase 4 complete. Council territories reduced to 39% control. Civilian governments failing. Lena said nothing. The old man appeared beside her in silence. He looked at the map, then he said, "Now. We give them a chance." Lena turned. "A chance for what?" "Rebuilding," he replied. "But under our order." Far from there, a group of minor alien leaders, once part of the council, gathered in an old mining station. They were scared, tired, lost. One of them, a small green insectoid named Vrel, spoke nervously. "Earth isn't attacking us, but they're everywhere," Furry Ambassador growled. "I saw one of their ships over our capital moon. Didn't even move, just watched." Another said, "They don't conquer, they wait, like hunters." Then a signal came through, an old frequency. "Human-made," it said. "We offer a deal." They froze. A full message followed. "No council, no empire, no war. We bring order, safety, trade, food, clean water, education, technology. But only if you swear loyalty to Earth's alliance. And then, refuse, and you may be left to chaos." Aliens sat in silence. One finally said what they were all thinking. "The humans aren't fighting us. They're giving us a choice." Back on Earth, inside the deep war bunker. The final stages of Earth's plan activated. The AI system Vantage projected a list of 50 planets, all former council systems, all now in complete collapse. Vantage stated, "These systems are requesting human assistance." The old man nodded. "Send aid, water, food, medical care, weapons if necessary." Alina frowned. "Weapons." "Yes," he said calmly. "Let them defend themselves. With our tech, our systems, our guidance." She understood. They weren't saving the galaxy. They were remaking it, planet by planet, bit by bit, not with war, but with loyalty and fear. The aliens who joined Earth were called aligned systems. Their leaders were allowed to rule, but under strict human observation. Their economies were rebuilt, the Earth credit systems. Their defense was restored. With Earth-made ships, their media played Earth-approved broadcasts. Their people lived safely, but they also understood Earth was watching. Those who refused, the message was clear. "We don't need to destroy you. The others will." It was true. More rebels, pirates, broken armies roamed freely. Earth made no move to stop them, because those who joined Earth never got attacked. Those who didn't, they vanished. One by one. The galaxy finally understood. Humanity didn't rise to power with noise. They rose with silence, shadows, and a plan no one ever saw coming. And now, the humans weren't just feared. They were trusted, willingly, because for the first time in centuries, the galaxy had order, and that order had a name: Earth. A quiet wind swept across the red hills of the alien world. Journex 3. Children laughed as they played near a market built from ruins. Vendors sold fruit grown in restored greenhouses. Drones floated overhead, watching silently. But no one feared. Then in the sky, a single black ship hovered far above. It bore no flag, no sound, no threat, just a symbol burned into its hull. Earth Command, Unified Galactic. Security. Months had passed since the fall of this Galactic Council, and the galaxy had changed completely. There were no more council meetings, no more corrupt votes, no more endless delays. Now there was only the Earth Accorda system built on rules, balance, and cold, clear consequences. You obeyed the accord, or disappeared. But many didn't fear it. They welcomed it, because for the first time in memory, People were safe. Trade moved fast. Food shortages were gone. Pirates were hunted down without mercy. Dead systems were rebuilt. Disease rates dropped. Energy flowed. Peace was enforced, and Earth didn't even sit on a throne. They didn't claim to be kings. They just watched from orbit. From satellites, from AI in every system. On the deep space hub Myra Station, now the center of galactic. Commerce traders spoke in hushed tones. Humans see everything. They never speak loud. They just appear. When rules are broken, one Rithon merchant whispered, "I used to fear them. I pray they stay." Back on Earth, the old man stood alone in the black bunker's garden underground. Chamber filled with real plants and artificial sunlight. It was Earth's oldest secret base, and now its new capital. Alina Reyes entered quietly. "They've approved the final charter," she said. The old man nodded. "The accord is law now." She added, 300 systems signed. He looked at her, no resistance. Some, and she smiled. Quietly. He turned to the screens lining the wall. One showed a jungle world, once ruled by warlords. Now it had hospitals, schools, clean rivers. Another showed a mining world that once collapsed from worker strikes. Now it ran with perfect harmony. "They finally listened," he said. Alina stepped forward. "They didn't listen, sir. They watched. And when the council failed, they looked for someone strong, someone that never blinked, said nothing for a while, then quietly added, and that became us." In the far edge of the galaxy deep. In uncharted systems, rumors spread. Some said Earth was building a new kind of star engine. Others said they found something ancient older than the council and were studying it in secret. And others believed Earth had already discovered another galaxy and was preparing to cross the void. No one knew the truth, and Earth didn't share it, because silence had become their greatest weapon. Inside a secure chamber, Earth's AI network Vantage ran millions of simulations per second. It didn't sleep. It didn't blink. It updated every aligned system in real dash time. It now controlled the communications, defense, trade, education, and even history archives of the galaxy. Not by force, but by design, and everyone agreed. Life was better under Earth, safer, smarter. Farah, at a new school on a moon colony, a young alien child raised his hand. "Teacher, why didn't humans take over long ago?" The teacher paused. She looked at the stars outside the window, then said, "Because they didn't want to rule. They wanted to survive," the boy asked. "And now?" she replied gently. "Now? They rule because no one else can." In the council ruins, a single statue remained. Not of a king, not of a human general, just a silent figure in a cloak, no face. What? No name, only words carved at the base. "We asked for peace. You demanded war. You forced our silence into strength. And now we bring order." Below it, in glowing silver text, "Earth does not kneel." Back on Myra Station, a final message played across all screens. No warning, no drama, just Earth's voice, soft, clear, firm. "This is not a conquest. This is structure. We will not harm you. We will not enslave you. But we will watch. And when danger rises again, we will not ask." You laughed at Earth. You called us backward, fragile, emotional, but now you see the truth. We were preparing for the day you pushed too far. We didn't want your galaxy, but now it's ours to protect. And then the screen faded to black. No one laughed anymore, because Earth had risen, and the galaxy had learned its final lesson. Silence is not weakness. Mercy is not fear. And humanity is not to be underestimated.